to 10 grammar mistakes new writers make and how to fix them. Nothing will derail your writing career quite like having a book filled with grammatical mistakes. Utilizing proper grammar and formatting is just as vital to success as having a killer story, epic characters, and a concise, interesting plotline. So here's a list of the 10 most common grammar mistakes that I see from new writers, and I even see these from veteran writers. Number 1, the your debacle. So this is my biggest pet peeve, so I'll try not to rant about this too long, but yeah, so we don't want to mess up your versus your when we're writing. So your is a possessive. It means you own it, as in that is your bag, you own your house, the neighbor kids trampled all over your lawn. You'Re is a contraction for the words you are, as in you're a writer, you're looking stunning today, and you're doing a fantastic job working through these modules. So an easy way to remember which one to use is to substitute the words you are into the sentence and see which one makes sense. So for the sentence, your novel idea sounds fantastic, you could try it both ways. Your novel idea sounds fantastic, or you are novel idea sounds fantastic. And when you do it that way, the correct choice is obvious. Number 2, there, and there. So 2 of these are very similar to your and your in that they are possessive and a contraction. And then we have that third one. So how do we tell them apart? There, their, is possessive. It means they own it. As in, we went to their house and stole all their books. They is a contraction for the words they are. So that's just like the youre one. As in, they are the nicest, most coolest people ever. I'm talking about Ellie and me right there, you guys. Okay, the third one, there, there, is a noun, which is a place. As in, I left my dog over there. So easy ways to remember it. You can substitute the words they are and see if it still makes sense. And if it does, then you want to use the contraction they are that has an apostrophe. If you can't substitute they are and have the sentence make sense, then you need to determine if the correct word is there, the noun, or their, the possessive. So here's an easy way. The word there with an I has an I in it. So ask yourself this question: could I own it? If the answer is yes, you could own whatever the object is in the sentence, then use the possessive form of the word, which is their. Example: their cat is really mean. So ask yourself, does someone own the cat? Yes, you could. I mean, in real life, we all know that cats pretty much own us, so this is a bad example, but you know what I mean. You could theoretically own a cat. So there with an I in it is the correct word. And for the sentence, there are 5 cats in the room, ask yourself, is anything in this sentence being owned? No. So there, there, which is the noun, is the correct word. Number 3, it's and its. This one bothers me so much because Microsoft Word frequently suggests that you change it from the proper word to the improper word. Like, at least several times in my manuscript, I'll get a little red squiggly line under my its, and it's telling me to switch it to the other one. And I don't know what went wrong in the spell checker software that the engineers created for it, but it is like almost always wrong whenever it suggests that you change it. So don't pay attention to Word. Here's how you tell which form of its versus its to use. And it's a doozy because it's not at all like how the possessives work. So the first 2 that I just told you about, your and their, this is the exact opposite. So normally if you're making a word a possessive, like the cat's toy, you would add an apostrophe to show that the cat owns the toy, but not in this case. ITS is the possessive here. So for example, the earth makes its way around the sun. The earth owns that. Well, it owns the path around the sun. So you would think it would be it's with an apostrophe because it's possessive, but not for this word. For this word, it''s is actually a contraction for the words it is. So for the examples, it's a beautiful day, or she believes it's never too late to follow your dreams. We would use the apostrophe word for these situations because it stands for it is. Number 4, Whose and whose. This one is similar to its and its, which should make it a little easier to remember. So whose with an apostrophe S is a contraction for the words who is, as in who's making all that noise. If you replace the whose with who is and it still makes sense, then this is the format you need to use. Whose, W-H-O-S-E, is the possessive. So if you're saying, I know whose side you're on, or whose lunch did you eat from the break room, those are both possessive instances of the word whose, because somebody owns the lunch, and whose side are you on? It's someone owns that side that they're on. So if the word is being used as a possessive, like Y-O-U-R or T-H-E-I-R, then you would use whose, W-H-O-S-E. Only put an apostrophe S if you mean the words who is. Number 5, the comma splice. A comma splice is when two complete sentences are strung together in one sentence with just a comma separating them. For example, he never texted her back. He didn't believe in constant communication. While this sentence makes sense, it's not correct. Watch out for these types of errors. They sneak up on us a lot when we're happily writing our novel and not paying attention. I know that I accidentally do this just all the time. So a comma does not connect two separate sentences together. You can fix this by making it two sentences or by using a coordinating conjunction like so. He never texted her back, period. He didn't believe in constant communication. So that one was easy. We just changed the comma into a period and made it two separate sentences. Or we could add a word like because and have it say he never texted her back because he didn't believe in constant communication. So just keep an eye out on your commas, and if you have a comma separating two parts of the sentence that are clearly two separate sentences on their own, then you need to do something about that. Number 6, could have or could have. I'll make this easy. Could have is never, ever, ever correct, ever. Search for this phrase in your manuscript and change the of to have. You should never, ever, ever have the word of. It should always be have. And this also applies to must have, would have, should have, etc. Instead of putting of, always put have. Super easy tip. Number 7, pleonasms. What is a pleonasm? I think I'm pronouncing that wrong, actually. I think it might be pleonasm. I have no idea. But here's what it is. It's the term for a repeating, redundant phrase that repeats itself and gets redundant. Do you get what I mean? So here are some examples. She sat down on the chair. Down is totally unnecessary here. Sat, it's the only word that you need to show what she did, because the word sat itself means sitting down. Nobody sits up. You don't go to sit down in a chair and your body elevates off the floor. So all you have to do is say she sat on the chair, and every single reader is going to understand that she's lowering her butt into the chair. Okay, another example. This party comes with free gifts. Duh, a gift is always free. So you don't need the word free there. All you need is the word gifts. Another example is I have my own car. If you have it, it's clearly yours. So all you have to say is I have a car or I have my car. You don't have to add the word my own, because the word my itself means it means the word own. It means you own it. So that's an example of a pleonasm that you can get rid of. Number 8, making a plural have an apostrophe. This is another one of my really big grammar annoyances. So make sure you check this one out. So sometimes I think it's an unconscious mistake that people make. But when you make a word into a plural, it does not need an apostrophe. So for example, she had so many purses her closet was overflowing. We took the word purse and made it plural because she has a lot of them. And the wrong example would be to put an apostrophe S right there. You don't need to do that. All you have to do is just add an S to it to make it plural. Apostrophes show either contractions or they show ownership. Like if the cat I don't know why I always default to cat, but the cat's toy was over there, then it would be apostrophe S because the cat owns that toy. If I'm saying she has 7 cats, it wouldn't be an apostrophe S because I'm just making the word plural. The only time you add an apostrophe S to a word is to make it possessive. Oh, okay. So I guess I forgot I made this slide because I just said that. So yeah, the dog's tail wags, the phone's ringtone is annoying, Derek's little sister is 5, and her mom's birthday is today. All of those things are possessive instances, so they're not plurals, they're possessives, which is why we added the apostrophe S, because the dog owns the tail, the phone owns the ringtone, Derek's little sister, he doesn't own her, but that's his little sister, and her mom's birthday is today. Number 9, who versus that. Who refers to a person, and that refers to an inanimate object or something that's not a person. Exceptions can be made if you're talking about a pet, because I think theoretically pets are supposed to be that's, but I call them who's because in my house, my pets are also family members. So, example, the woman that lingered in the doorway was probably waiting on me. That is wrong. You should never say the woman that lingered. The correct option would be the woman who lingered because she is a person. Another correct option is the stack of books that had been left overnight had toppled over. Books are inanimate objects, so we would call them that's, not whose. Number 10, vague pronoun reference. So a pronoun replaces a noun. Ellie is a noun. She is a pronoun that means Ellie. So other pronouns are his, hers, it, myself, you, me, we, he, her, this, that, them, etc. Etc. is not a pronoun. That's me saying etc. So pronouns basically replace a noun. So I could say, I have a book in my hand. The word book is the noun because that's the person, place, or thing I'm talking about. If I say, this is my book, hand it to me, then I'm now using the word it to mean the book. So it is the pronoun because it took the place of the word book. So vague pronouns are really easy to accidentally slip into your manuscript. So for example, I have a sentence here. It says, Amy and Ellie were drinking coffee and she knew that she didn't like it because she was more of a tea drinker. So we have Amy and Ellie here as the nouns, and then we have she, and she. So since Amy and Ellie are both she's, we have no idea. Is it Amy knows that Ellie doesn't like it, or Ellie knows that Amy doesn't like it? We don't know. So that's a vague pronoun, and it can really confuse the reader. You as the writer will understand because you know what you're talking about, but the reader has never read this book before, and they don't know what's going on. So we need to go through and make sure that we don't have these vague sorts of pronouns. So how you would fix it. I could say, Amy and Ellie were drinking coffee, and Amy knew Ellie was more of a tea drinker and didn't like coffee. That's actually a true fact. Please don't hold that against Ellie. I don't know why she doesn't love coffee as much as I do, but I still love her anyway. So when it comes to time to read through your manuscript, you can kind of save this for like one of the last steps that you do. Just read through and make sure that your pronouns are easy to understand and make sure your sentences are easy to understand because we don't want to confuse readers. And when it comes down to writing, really the only thing that matters is that your book is easy to understand and enjoyable. You don't have to bog down your manuscript with flowery, overly poetic prose and phrases and big vocabulary words. You just need a book that readers are going to be interested in and that they're going to like. So going through and fixing these grammar issues will make your book stronger, and it'll make it more professional, and it'll make it more enjoyable. So good luck.